questions revealing,
Pepa Dilatory says, I met you outside the Durham, North Carolina theater, went to see Steve Hackett. You were outside with Royner. You were very kind and polite. I was pleased to meet you. Started my curiosity and found your music. Fell in love with Courting the Widow, CD. My favorite, it also says. Do you realize that the key of success and catching fans is being genuine and simply nice? What's your advice for the new generation of musicians and their fans? Hi, Pepe. Yeah. Being nice is my recipe for success, I think, What goes around comes around, so that's important. And also advice for future musicians and their fans is give each other respect and make yourself available for the fans, but don't go too far with it. Because sometimes fans, they think they are real friends, and you can't have millions of friends. You just look at yourself, you just don't have time for that. So some fans sometimes try to break into your inner circle of people, and that can be hard. So they also need to respect you and make sure that they're on the right side of the fence, and you'll all be okay. Thank you. John Splinter says, Hello, Nad. I think you made the album of the year for me, and a couple of times in the week I play this one in my car. The song Where the Martyr Carved His Name is my absolute favorite of the album. When are you coming to Holland to play this great album? Thanks for your reply. Hello, John. I don't really think I can go out on tour before I've cut another solo record, which I hopefully will early next year. Then I'm going out with Steve again on tour in February, and I really don't know for how long that is now being planned. So perhaps later next year. I'd love to come back to Holland. Love playing there. Thank you. Eileen Sharkey says, Nad, where did the influence come from to write The Widow? It embodies so many feelings. As you said previously in an interview, some of it is quite dark, but there's lightness about it too. Is it a mirror of your imagination? Hi, Eileen. Correct observation. It is my imagination, which is very light, but also very dark. It's got all kinds of shapes and forms and shades. What inspired me to write The Widow, well, it was a sort of long haul, really. It took a long time to write those songs. And so life, I guess, life and death. Thank you very much. John Water says, Nad, how does it feel to have musically toiled for years and then think you wouldn't make it, only to go back to a miserable night shift job? One day you get a call from the maestro and your life changes. Through your participation, you picked up crack musicians and turned out such an amazing piece of work called Courting the Widow, one of the best albums I've heard in years. It must be an amazing hour for you. How has all this affected you? And when can we expect the follow-up to The Widow? I love you, man. Hello, John. Well, it has made me very suspicious of other people. So I tend to walk around with this pot on my head and pretending that no one can see me. And the follow-up to The Widow will be released sometime next year. Hopefully February, March, sometime around there. Thank you so much. You're very kind, John. I love you too. Mark Reynolds says, if the responsibility was yours to decide upon one album that should be kept for the benefit of future generations, parenthesis, so they might be enthralled and understand the beauty, power and emotion of music, parenthesis, if all others were to be erased, destroyed without trace, what should it be and why? Hello, Mark. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of my vinyls here and see if I can find exactly what I'm looking for. And I think I'm going to stop somewhere around towards the end here. Where are we going with this? Oh yes, 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 yes. It's Tales from Topographic Oceans by Yes from 1973. Also been tagged as music from the future, and the future, that's our children. And so that will be your answer. I completely love this album, and especially side one. I I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've actually fallen asleep to this album for more than 30 years. Or, no, 30, 35 years, something like that. So I love this album. That it will be the answer for me. Thank you. Brad Ashton Haste says, inspiration comes from everywhere. Have you ever written a piece that was inspired by something that you never thought would inspire you to bring something to song? Also, Screwed, you and a bit of tea is intriguing. Hello, Brad. Yes, it's very true that this little lady inspired me to write the song Ship's Cat. Screwed and a cup of tea. You say, what? Got this catnip banana? It looks like tea, doesn't it? Gratin? Gratin? Moment? 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 Naman? What's wrong, darling? What's wrong, sweetheart? Well, so that is the answer to your question. It is Ship's Cat. And she was lying, I think everyone knows this now, she was lying on the top of my keyboard, my stack of keyboard, and she was making sounds and purring and stuff, so I thought I'll use that in the song. And so that's her. She's playing with my iPad. She's striking herself against it. Matt Koenig says, and this is a long one. Hiya, Nad. I've long been a fan of your Uniform album, which I first heard over 2 years ago, and I was lucky enough to see you perform live with Steve Hackett in Bristol back in October 2015. A few days after that show, I went on your website and had a look through to find out more about you and your music. It was whilst reading your bio that I found out about your exploration of gender roles, especially during the late 90s with Life of a Housewife album. As a fellow progressive experimental artist trying to escape from the shackles of masculinity, it really meant a lot to find out that one of my favorite musicians had gone through a similar experience to me, even if it was 20 years before my own time. With exploration of gender becoming more and more prominent and even publicly acceptable in recent years, especially within the field of music, I wonder if you had any advice of encouragement for someone like me, someone trying to incorporate more femininity not only into my life and appearance, but also into my music and my musical persona. Thanks and all the best, Matt, or should I say Matty? Hi, Matty. This is Nadine. Oh, the housewife speaking. No, seriously, when it comes to androgyny and that nature as an artist, I tried that with Housewife in 97, and by that time I had been working with my music for about 23, 24 years without even getting near success. And I was talking to one of my friends, my best friend, said, well, go outrageous, do something new, you know. Because I've always been an androgynous guy. It's just that I always felt more confident on stage, being close to my masculine energy. So, but I did give it a go. I did the Housewife album, and I did a couple of shows, as you saw in the previous pictures, photographs. I did use, like a three-piece suit and trying to look like a woman. And it almost worked, but I didn't feel confident about it. It wasn't really my thing. But I'm sure, others would be more successful as real drag queens. Of course, you had the aspect of Bowie and Bolan and New York Dolls and Sweet and
Twisted Sister. I mean, it's Mothers of Invention. There have been, there's been tons of groups and artists doing the drag thing, and I was just another one. But the great thing is with the makeup thing is actually I learned how to put on makeup. And I use that now when I go on stage with Steve, but then not to do the drag thing, rather more to highlight my facial features and my facial expressions, because in the light, God, it goes away. You need to emphasize that. And so that's what I use it for now. And I feel a lot more confident as I've grown older and got more experience as well. But then again, of course, if you feel that you want to do more of the, maybe not drag thing, but going a bit more androgynous, well, why shouldn't you? If that's a part of you, then go for it, And if people try to put you down for whatever reason, that you go your own way, just tell them to fuck off, because that's what they need to hear. I mean, who are they to come and tell you what to do or not to do? You should hear the shit that I get sometimes. I just, I completely ignore them. I just see them as losers, So, and just you go, girl. Just work it, and best of success, and good luck to you. Cheers.
Brandon Wahlberg says, did you grow up listening to the Beatles and graduate into prog, or did you start off with a special fondness to pop genre? Do you appreciate jazz at all? How about alternative jazz like Holdsworth, Bruford, or Pegard? Hello, Brandon. To answer your questions, yeah, I grew up with a lot of pop when I was little, and of course the Beatles and the Stones, and this was in the 60s, and I happened to come across prog music with Lamb Lies on Broadway when I was 16, and followed by, the likes of Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and all that stuff around that age. And the album, the UK album came out in 78, and I was an instant fan of that, which of course, at the time that Holdsworth and Bruford left that band and started to record, and the new constellation with Bruford's new band, of course he already done the Feels Good to Me album, which I liked a lot, but One of a Kind was really one of a kind. I love that album, and I remember my bandmates, we were listening to that all the time. So alternative jazz, yes. Like, maybe smooth jazz sort of stuff like Al Jarreau, and even heavier stuff like Gino Vanelli back in the day. I still think that Gino Vanelli, his album Nightwalker, is his best album ever. That along with Brother to Brother, but that's a bit too cheesy for my liking. But I like some of the stuff, absolutely. So thank you. Lorne Murphy says, any plans for a follow-up album to Courting the Widow? That was one of the best albums of last year. Hello, Lorne, and thank you very much for your kind compliment. I really do appreciate it. I'm sitting here in my garden today, getting some sun. Been trying to write some lyrics for a new song, which of course means that I am working on a new album. Sitting here in my birthday suit. I'm not going to show you any more than that. So that's... what was that? Guess that was... Is that Twitter? Better find out. Thank you very much, and prog it down! Michelle Burgess says, hi, do you enjoy cooking? Are you a good cook? And what do you like to eat the most? Hi, Michelle. Well, I did try to make an effort in making a new cooking video, and see for yourselves, I mean, whoa. But I also have a bit of craving for cat food, I'm afraid. I'm turning into a cat slowly but surely. So here's a little video of what I tried to do. Yeah, I love cooking, and it's just terribly messy.
So, I cooked you dinner. There's the lens. It's a lovely dinner. You see, I have it here. How do I film this? There, and a glass of wine, with this sort of view overlooking the lake. It's an absolutely gorgeous evening. It's just past about 10 past 8 p.m. Of course, it's p.m. It's evening, right? So, bon appetit. This was organic soy fettuccine, and it's called Nad's Bolognese or Bolognese. Thank you.
Fleming Groan says, how did you come about to join Steve Hackett? Did he spot you somewhere or vice versa?
Hi, Fleming. I just taken a wonderful swim out in the Baltic. To answer your question, I was recommended by the guy who hosts the Night of the Prog Festival in Lorelei, Germany, to Steve Hackett because of the Genesis Revisited thing, as Winfried is or was a fan of my Uniform album. And he thought I could do it. And so Steve went online and listened to me and thought that could be the guy. So that is what happened. I did meet Steve in 2007, the first time, when we did the Lorelei Festival together. Or I think maybe he was the day after us. That was the first gig I did with Angel's Mercy. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
John Myhill says, are there any of Steve Hackett's songs, solo or Genesis, you haven't sung but would like to?
Hi, John. You know, I've actually sung my two favorite Steve Hackett songs already. But what springs to mind are two Genesis songs that I haven't sung but would really like to have a crack at it. And one is Seven Stones off of the Nursery Crime album, and the other one is One for the Vine from Winter Wuthering. Two really strong songs. One sung by Peter Gabriel and the other one by Phil Collins, and I think I could sort of go right in between there somewhere and do my version with a pinch of both of them, the way I usually do it when I sing Genesis. So let's hope for the best for 2017, okay? And thanks for your question.
Steve London says, what is your favorite Genesis song that you sang when touring the Genesis Revisited show with Steve Hackett?
Hello, Steve. We were talking Genesis Revisited show, that was in 2013. I think I want to pick two songs, if I may. One is Supper's Ready because it had so many funny moments and emotional moments, and
a lot of drama in there, and I was up on the riser with the quill and just goofing around. But it was a lovely, lovely song to perform, and I did it so many times that I really felt that my voice also grew during that tour. And then, of course, we have another one that's called The Lamia, from The Lamb. That was exceptional to sing. It had so many emotions, and also, as some of you know, The Lamb was the first album I got into when I was just 16. And so anything from The Lamb really is very special for me to sing. Thanks. Chris Chanel says, which singers influenced and influence you now? Looking forward to a new album.
Hello, Chris. My mother used to play a lot of soul music to me when I was very little. People like Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, Joe Cocker even. And then, of course, I became a teenager, started listening to a lot of stuff like hard rock, Deep Purple, Uriah Heep. So, of course, Ian Gillan, David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes, David Byron. And then I drifted into something else, as you know. So Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins goes without saying, really, but also people like Gina Vanelli. Contemporary singers, not so much. I can't say that I don't really listen to that much modern music anymore. I'm an old fart. Thank you.